Hello friends, welcome to Joy of Life. So another medium problem from Leetcode today. The problem number is 334. So it's a increasing triplet sequence. Given an integer array nums, return true if there exists a triple of indices I, j, k such that I less than j less than k and nums I less than nums j less than nums k. If no such indices exist, return a false. Okay, interesting. So over here you can see that we have the indices 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, right? And we need a I, we need a J, and we need a K, right? And where the values are also lesser, right? So if we see index 0, 1, and 2, I is less than J and J is less than K over here, right? So first we check the indices should be in a decreasing sequence and the value should be also in a decreasing sequence, right? So these are nothing but indices over here, and let's say these are my values. So if I take the value of 0, 1, and 2, so what we get 1, 2, and 3. So they are also in increasing. So both our index and value should be in an increasing sequence. That's when we call a triplet, and there should be three values. So in a reversely sorted array over here, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, we can't get that, right? Because all the values are decreasing, right? We don't have three index. We have the values like 1, 2, and say 3, but the indices will be 4, 3, and 2, right? So this is not rising, this is falling, right? So this graph over here will look something like this, but the indices graph will look something like this. The indices is decreasing, right? And again, for the last one over here, so they are saying that 3, 4, and 5. So this is 0, this is 1, this is 2, and this is 3, and 4, and 5. So 0, 4, and 6 are increasing, right? So if I put it in graph, it will be something like this. So this is 0, this is 4, this is 6, right? And the indices are 3, 4, and 5. So indices are also rising. So 3, and this is 4, and this is 5, right? So we got a triplet over here, right? So we need to find out if there are such triplets or not. That's the problem. So we are going to do some tricky solution on this one. And I would highly recommend that you give it a try before you look at my solution. So let's head over to the board and try out the solution. So I've taken the same example from the Leetcode problem wherein we are going to find the triplet over here. So the triplet that we see is at 0, 4, 6, right? The last three values. The triplet that we have is over here, here, and here, right? 0, 4, and 6. So if I put the index, so these are my 6 values from 0 to 5, right? And what we need is that I, j, and k should be in increasing order, right? The constraint that we have is I, j, and k in this, and then we have nums I less than nums j less than nums k. So basically, again, we have already done this, that it should be a graph that is rising, right? It will be something like this, but this is I, this is j, and this is k. I is less than j is less than k, and same for the nums I, jk as well, right? So how we are going to solve this is a little tricky over here. So there are two things to address over here. One is this, the other is this, right? So how we are going to do, the first one can be taken care very easily, right? So let's say I start an iteration, right? So when we iterate like this, what happens is we get the value as per this graph, right? Because I is rising. First it will be 0, then it will go up like this, 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5, right? So this will be taken care. Just need to autocorrect it. It will be a straight line. It's not a bended line. Anyways, so we will be getting like this, right? And now there are three things to be tracked over here, like I, j, and k. We need three values. We need the three indexes, right? And when we say indexes, it indirectly means that we are talking about the value, right? When I put this indexes in my array nums, right? So basically this value is going to be the maximum value in the array, the index pointed by this value. This one should be lesser than that, and this one should be lesser than that, right? So these two values over here should be lesser than k, right? So what I'm going to do is I'm going to initialize them with max, both of them. So we have this loop, right? We'll modify this loop. We don't need the indexes, right? Because we know that the indexes will be fine. So these two guys are in max, and so what I will do is we'll start going over this array of nums, right? Like this. So let's keep a track of I, j, and k. and k is iterating over here, right, in the array. So k will get the value, say 2, right? So this is our first index, right? So we'll get the value 2, and what we are going to do is we are going to see if the value pointed by k is smaller, then we are going to push it as left as possible, right? So what we are going to do is we are going to check if k is less than I, right? So k is less than I. If you see, what we did intentionally is to set I with a max because we are looking for a smaller value, right? So what we'll do is we'll put I over here, right? So what will happen is 2 will move over here. This will remain as max, and k is also at 2. We are going to assign this first. Sorry, I missed that line. So I equals to k. So we are good. So what will happen is this guy will move over here and we'll get a new value which is a 1. So again we are going to check if k is less than I or not. K is indeed a smaller value than what I is having. So what we are going to do is we are going to put it over here and we are going to not touch j, right? And then we'll get the next value which is a 5. So over here what will happen is this condition won't satisfy, right? Because I is pointing to a value which is 1 and we have the value 5 at k, right? So we are going to introduce another check that will be for this jth index, right? So what we are basically do over there is we are going to put a else if the above condition is not satisfied, then only it's going to get inside this. Of course we have to first ensure that k and I are different, right? If it is same, then it makes no sense, right? It has to be different. We have checked for a lesser over here, but it has to be different, right? And along with that we have to have an additional condition over here, that is k should be less than j. That's why we are assigning it to j, right? So again j is initialized with max for that reason, right? So 1 will still remain over here and 5 will come here. Now you see that all our value has been set. Now we have to figure out if we have found a triplet or not, and that condition is going to be very straightforward, right? Because we know what we are looking for. So basically we can say that if k should be greater than I and k should be greater than j, in that case I'll say that okay, I can return a true over here if ever this condition is matched inside the loop. If not, once we are out of this loop, we can say that no, we have not found a triplet. So over here, if you see, our condition is not matched, right? K is not greater than j, k is equal to j, right? So our loop will continue over here. So the next value we get is a 0, and since we are checking with I first, so 0 we'll put over here and 5 will remain here. So again we'll come over here to check k is greater than I. No, it's not, they're equal, right? So this is false, so we'll go again on top. So we'll get the next value. So we came here, we are done with this, so we are at 4 now. So we get this value 4 over here, and we are checking that it is smaller than I. No, we are not assigning. K and I should be different, right? K and I is different, as you see over here, right? And that's when we can put the value there. Otherwise there is no point putting the value, right? So what we are going to do is now we are going to copy this 4 over here, right? And again this condition won't be satisfied because we have seen that j and k is same, right? So what will happen is now it will move on. So we'll get a value 6 over here. This pointer has gone over here. So over here what we see that 0 and both of this condition will not be satisfied at this moment, right? So we have 0, 4 and 6. So you can see here that we have a triplet over here, right? And this condition will return a true in that case, right? So, and it will return a true, and we say that we have the triplet with us, right? So the concept over here is very simple. I find a smaller value, I put it to I. If not, if I is already having a smaller value, I put it to j. If not, I hold it to myself. And at any point, if I see 3 values which are in the triplet sequence, which is this condition over here, we say that okay, I have found the triplet that you are looking for, right? It's a very simple implementation. So what we are going to do is we are quickly move over to the Leetcode and write it down. It's very simple, right? So we need 3 variables as we have seen, and we are going to set 2 of them to max. So I and j will be set to max. So let's put it as j. And k, what we are doing with k is we are just iterating k with nums, right? And if we exit out of this loop, if that condition never matching, we are going to say that it's false, right? Here we are going to put some simple checks that we have just been talking. If k is less than I, then I equals to k. Very simple. You know why we are doing, because we found a smaller value. And else if k not equals to I, and k less than j. In that case, I'm going to set j with k, and this should be an if condition, right? Not an else. Because if they matches, then it will not enter here, right? K should be greater than j, and then k should be greater than I. That's it. If it matches, then we're going to say we are returning a true over here. So yep, this is the algorithm all about. Very simple, very small code. We are going to run and check, and then we are going to go to submit. So yep, you can see it's been accepted. So let's do a submit and check. Yep, it's been accepted. We have 0 millisecond faster than 100% of all the submissions. Anyways, the main concept is the trick over here, right? How we have been manipulating and passing on things, right? That is the trick part of it. So these some problems are very tricky in nature. You need not do anything. If I give you a problem like this, probably you would have done the same thing, right? When you get the smaller elements, you put it that way, right? We are exactly doing the same thing over here. So I hope you got the solution over here. And coming to the complexity part of it, so for runtime, we have an order of n because we are having a traversal over the array, right? Entire array. And in terms of storage, what we are doing is we are not storing anything, right? So we have this I, j, and k, which is going to be this will have an order of 1. It was more of a tricky problem than a difficult problem, I would say. So I hope you got the concept over here. And in case if you have any doubts or questions or suggestions or any better solution than this or any tricky solution as a matter of fact, then do post it in the comments to share it with me as well. I would also love to learn from you guys and also share back what I have been doing. Share this with your friends. Please support the channel in order to grow. I'm working on a system design series which will be starting off very soon, wherein we will have system design from scratch. We'll create a small mini application. So I would suggest you to keep it subscribed, and we are going to have it very open-ended, wherein you can also contribute and I can also learn from you guys. It's more of a collaborative mode than a teaching mode that I'm planning for. So please subscribe to the channel and share with your friends as well. So yeah, that's all from this video. So stay safe, stay home, and take care of yourself and your loved ones. See you soon again, guys. Bye bye.